Hello, everybody. Welcome to class today. Hi, guys. I'm Alex from E2 Language. Welcome to your E2 IELTS Writing Task 2 Advanced class. Just say hi in the chat box here if you're with me on Zoom. Beautiful. Hello, Seema, Nelson. I can see all my regulars. Prince is here. Maria. Fantastic. Look at this chat box flying. All right. Some of you are watching on YouTube. Hello to you as well. Next time, join us on Zoom via E2 Language, and then I can communicate with you in the chat box. All right, well, let's get straight into it. I want to do a couple of things at the beginning today. And if you are new, just remember to use in the chat box, click the arrow and chat with all panelists and attendees, because there are lots of people in the chat box who can help you. Sometimes I'll miss a question if I'm talking and you're typing, but somebody else can sometimes answer it for you. So check that your chat box settings open to all panelists and attendees. All right, here we go. Advanced class, by the way, it doesn't matter if you're not advanced or you don't think you're advanced. This just means that in this class, we write a whole essay together. And after this class, I promise you can do anything. It's a pretty tough topic today, but I'm going to help you with it. Oh, okay, a few exams coming up. Who's that? Vishnu, happy birthday to you today. Just caught my eye there. Good on you studying for IELTS on your birthday. Why not? Okay, those of you on Zoom, please use the chat box. If you are on YouTube, just use the live chat over there. Remember, you can turn the chat on and off anytime if you don't want to be distracted. If you want one-on-one help, we can offer that, of course. Here at E2, you can submit your writing for feedback. So that starts at $24 for a task 1 and task 2, and you'll get really personalized, really useful feedback. Obviously, in this class, I can't correct everybody's stuff, but we can do it for you through E2 Language. Or book a tutorial. We've got some amazing teachers who can work with you one-on-one. So you can have your writing on the screen and 45 minutes go through it step by step. So plenty of ways that we can help you. This is our plan. We're going to analyze a task plan together. Today, you're going to write with the timer on in little pieces. Intro, body 1, we're going to do step by step together. Then body 2 on your own and so on. A little bit of feedback. And a full sample task at the end. I'll show you where to find some extra practice too. This is our live class schedule here. And just grab a screenshot if you want. You guys here who are members at E2, you probably got an email on the weekend with a link to catch this. Just stop my video for a sec. So grab a photo. You can see we have lots of live classes each week. We are in this one, Writing Task 2 Advanced. Coming up later today is the reading class, and after that we repeat that class so that if you're in a different time zone, you can catch either one. Grammar tomorrow and so on. All weekend, lots of writing as well. So there's plenty of classes for you here. And I just want to recommend to you guys Tuesday's Task 2 class. Who was there? Tell me in the chat box. That was with fantastic Danielle, Vikram, Maithili, Hasna, hey, Pushpa are all the good students. I know you guys, well done. So I just want to recommend Tuesday's class because it was on an environment theme like today's class. And there was a workshop on articles, how to use are and the correctly. Really, really important lesson. So that will be in the recorded class library. I'll check on that later. I saw somebody ask me a question. So go back and review Tuesday's class. For access to all of these classes, by the way, great, Seema says it was so useful. For access to the live classes, for 6 months, you can get them for just $44 US. There are lots of different options. I saw a few people asking about payment there. First of all, recorded classes are only for paid students. So you can access them from as little as $44. And then all different packages, depending what you want, how much feedback you want. Do you want tutorials? Do you want to take a mock test? Okay, I can see you guys saying about the grammar class. I'll follow that up, don't worry. And we've just launched, like 2 minutes ago, we've just launched a huge package. So if you want to study and get access to everything. And if you've got friends as well who want to study, we've launched this thing called the all-in package. Actually, I'll share in the chat box at the end. I'll just share a link so you can read about it. But basically, this gives you a one-on-one interview basically at the start with one of our teachers who will work with you through your package. You decide how much you want to study, what do you want to study. Your teacher will help you design a study plan for you. So very personalized. You get 3 tutorials. You have an exclusive AMA with me, and Jay will be there. Full mock test, 12 assessments, blah, 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 everything. But what's really cool is you also get 3 express packages to give to your friends. So that's 3 packages that gives them 6 months access to live classes and also all of the self-access material. So if you're a really good friend, you can pass that off to 3 of your buddies. So I'll share the link a little bit later, or grab a screenshot. You can follow the link at the bottom here. Just launched. So if you want heaps of help, that is definitely the package for you. Let's begin, shall we? Now I'm starting with a super quick review. So did you come to Tuesday's class? I saw a lot of you did. This is for you guys. I want to review vocabulary. And can you tell us in the chat box, what was the topic on Tuesday? If you were not in that class, no worries at all. Totally doesn't matter. This is just going to get your brain going on the environment theme. Beautiful. Yes, so the topic was plastic. In fact, plastic bags. That's right. Let's review some vocabulary from it. If you're not in the class, you're going to have just a completely wild guess here. Okay, so here is the introduction from Tuesday's class. Your job, complete the words. I'm going to close the chat box for a moment just for extra challenge. Okay, here it is. This is the introduction. The words I'm missing, I've given you a clue. There are 5 of them and you have 40 seconds. Type your answers into the chat box. Only I can see your answers. Go for it. Okay, time's just about up. There we go. I'm going to open up the chat box again here. Pretty good job. I can really see who was in that class and who reviewed it. Just a quick question, number 2 here. Plastic something is becoming one of the greatest. Is that going to be singular or plural? Number 2, one of the greatest. Very good, Vikram. You got it. It's whatever it is, it's plural. For example, he is one of the richest men in the world. It's one of the most beautiful buildings. So that pattern of speech, remember it, one of the superlative plural. Okay, here we go. Oops, sorry, it's blocking the view. Plastic pollution is becoming one of the greatest threats to our environment, particularly the oceans, and plastic bags are the main culprits. Some have therefore suggested banning the use of these bags. This essay will discuss why I completely agree that a ban is the best way to curb the amount of plastic being discarded. If you don't know some of those words, ask Seema and Vikram and the others who were there on Tuesday. They can explain them for you. Great job, you guys who got 5. Fantastic. Very good. A few people asking, what does curb mean? Vikram already answered. Well done. Okay, so let's forget about plastic for the moment, but we are still thinking about the environment for today's theme. And today's topic is, I'll just give you a second, Vikram, to answer the other questions. Thank you for that. Didn't think you'd come to class and have to be the teacher, did you? Sometimes happens. All right, today's topic, Thank you, Seema. Seema, your chat box needs to be open to all panelists and attendees. Today's topic is about this. What is it? Yes, coal. All right, and we're going to talk a bit more broadly about this thing. So what is it? Yes, it's coal. So coal, gas, oil, they are all what? Oh, I saw it in the chat box. Yes, starts with F. Great, fossil fuels. If that's a new word for you, just write it down, check it out later. So fossil fuel, gas, oil, coal. Okay, does your country use fossil fuels? Yeah, me too. I'm from Australia and we rely heavily on coal for our electricity. Okay, so for you guys, yeah, a lot of coal use, oil as well. Okay, call it charcoal in Nigeria. Okay, so this is the stuff they dig it out of the ground. Here in Australia, we burn it in a power plant and it powers our homes, it powers our businesses. Okay, so what are some benefits? So I'm talking here about using this fuel to create energy, to create electricity. What are some benefits of that? Why is it good? Great, it's cheap. Yeah. Good. Anything else? Everybody said it's cheap, cheap, cheap. Environmentally friendly, is it? I don't think so. Certainly not this kind. Very good. Easily accessible. Yeah, you can dig it out of the ground. Oil, it's pretty easy to get, I suppose. It's efficient, really good. So the alternative is what's solar energy, wind. You need the sun, you need the wind for that. So this is always there. Very good. Okay, so main things seem to be it's cheap, it's efficient, it's pretty easy to get, it's widely available. Okay, cons. A lot of people are anti-fossil fuels. Why? Very good. Someone said non-renewable. Pollution. Good. So when you burn it, creates emissions, contributes to the greenhouse effect. Non-renewables. That's a big one. Yeah. Non-renewable, another way to say it is finite. So eventually we will use it all. It will run out. It doesn't sustain itself. All right. So these are the things that we're going to talk about today, but let's look at the task specifically. Okay, that's what it's all about. And you can say, thank you, E2, that this is not my topic on test day. That would be a rude surprise, wouldn't it? But we've got it now, we've got it together, we can deal with it. Topic, the exploration and development of safe alternatives to fossil fuels should be the most important global priority today. The exploration and development of safe alternatives to fossil fuels should be the most important global priority today. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Okay, what are some safe alternatives? Can you tell me? Yeah, solar, wind, tidal, lots of things, biofuel. Yeah. Okay, so finding that, developing it, making it better should be the #1 thing. It's the most important thing in the world today. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Okay, so this is asking for opinion really clearly. Do you think so or not? So if you say yes, then you have to explain why is it so important. If you say no, you have to say, well, what's more important? So some of you maybe start thinking about that. Maybe you think it's not #1, it's maybe #5. So what's more important than this? Conservation, yeah, okay. You know, we're living in this pandemic time, maybe public health is a bigger priority, maybe education is a bigger priority, maybe law and order, reducing crime. Those are some other things that you could say, actually, they're more important than fuel. Okay. In my essay today, I'm going to take a very strong position though. Let's talk about structure. I saw heaps of you putting in the acronyms for the paragraphs. Well done. So we always have an intro and a conclusion. The intro is going to have 3 sentences: the background, the background issue, the task itself, and then a statement which says what you think exactly. Conclusion, we sum it all up, broad statement, and restate opinion or summary. And then in between we have 1, 2, or 3, maybe 4 body paragraphs. It always depends on the question. All right, and this is one option. You could write body 1, my view. For example, I don't think it's the #1 priority. And then the other paragraph could be what other people think, and you could disprove them, why they're wrong. Okay, so I think this, and other people think the opposite, but they're wrong. That's one way to structure. And another way to structure is like this: first reason for my opinion, second reason for my opinion. All right. And that's how I'm going to structure mine today. And I'm going to use 2 single idea paragraphs. Lots of you are writing peel in the chat box. Main point, I'm going to explain, give an example, describe an effect, link back to the topic. Peel, peel. Okay, so I'm going to take a really strong position and I'm going to say, yes, it is the #1 priority. If you haven't decided yet what you're going to do, oh, is somebody sharing their results? I missed it. Make sure you email after class. If you haven't decided what your position is yet, take my position. We are going to write 100% agree. Let's do that together. Okay. So this is how the sample is structured. And by the way, if you are worried about paragraph structures, people typing in the chat box, peel, what does it mean? No worries. Just check out the course materials. Go to course, click on writing task 2, and it's all there. How to write intros, how to write bodies, how to write conclusions. Excellent video from Jay, how to write opinion essays, brand new method video in there as well. So don't panic if you're not sure. It's all there for you. Now, I'm going to share with you my 2 main ideas. Okay, so I'm going to say 100% I agree. Fossil fuels, alternatives to fossil fuels should be the most important global priority today. Okay, and 2 reasons. First reason, because fossil fuel supplies are running out. Okay, so it's not renewable. That's my #1 reason. And then I'm going to explain, give example, effect, and link. Second reason, what do you guys think? So I'm 100% yes, it's very, very important. 1, because they're running out. What about 2? Great. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm going to do. The environmental factor. Using fossil fuels for energy damages the environment. Okay, so we have to find something else, or it's going to be a catastrophe for the environment. Those are my 2 ideas. If you are still thinking about your ideas, just use mine. Take mine. They're good ones. You're welcome to write a different opinion, of course. You can do whatever you like, but we're all going to plan now. I'm going to leave the chat box open for this because it can help to see what other people's ideas are. Those of you asking, can I use the double paragraph method? Absolutely. Yeah. If you've got 2 ideas you want in 1 paragraph, of course, you can structure however you want. This is just what I'm doing in today's sample. Okay, so 3 minutes. If you're new, you're not sure what to do at this stage, just watch the chat box, watch your classmates. They are going to start developing their ideas using the paragraph structure. Okay, so 3 minutes for this. I'm watching the chat box. I'll try to answer questions there too. Let's do it. So just planning, not writing the intro yet. Thank you, everyone. Some lovely plans coming through. So planning is a very, very important stage. It saves you from a messy essay, saves you from scoring band 5 or 6 as well. Good job, guys. Okay, don't worry if you're new and haven't got the rhythm yet. It takes a few classes, you'll get there. So the idea is basically we plan together and then we write step by step. Okay, so a lot of questions coming through about the structure. Can I write somebody else's opinion? Can I write about the benefits? Can I write a double idea paragraph? Please watch the video in your course in the overview section, which is called Essay Types and Golden Rules. Because in that video, we make the point that you can really do whatever you want within the body, but the absolute most important thing that you have to do on test day is answer the question in front of you. So don't worry about, is it advantages, disadvantages, is it double question? Just look at your question that you've got there. So our one today is the exploration and development of safe alternatives to fossil fuels should be the #1 priority. And I'm going to say, yeah, I completely agree. And then all I have to do is put my ideas into paragraphs. Okay, let's write. Okay, and we always write with the criteria in mind. We're not writing for fun, of course. We're not writing for university. We're not writing for high school. We are writing for the IELTS examiner. And the IELTS examiner is looking for very particular things, and they have no mercy. So it's important that you keep that in mind as well. So task response, coherence, cohesion, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy. There's also a video in your course covering this. These are the 4 scores that the examiner is going to give you. And if you want 7 or 8, you have to give them what they want in the 7 and 8 criteria. Okay, so essentially answer all parts of the question, make sure your position, your opinion is clear and it does not change. Present, extend, support your main ideas. Linking, we talked about that a lot last week and the week before. Vocab and grammar, range and accuracy as well. If you want to grab a screenshot here, please go for it. This is in all the methods videos in your course as well. So hopefully you're pretty familiar with it now. Okay, and let's move along and go on to the intro. I'm going to write my intro first and then give you time to do your own one. Okay, so I'm going to start with my background sentence, reword the task, and then my thesis statement, which is, this is what my essay, this is the main point of my essay. Okay, in this example, my thesis statement is very short. Background sentence. Our modern world depends on energy to power our homes, vehicles, and businesses. Okay, this is my background theme. It's all about energy, electricity, how to create it. Some have argued, so now I'm taking the question, putting it in my own words. Some have argued that replacing fossil fuels with renewable energy sources ought to be, should be the #1 priority around the world. Next sentence, the examiner wants to see, well, what do you think? Some people think this, what does this writer think? Personally, I completely agree. Maybe a little bit simple, but the examiner knows, okay, 100% this writer agrees. So there are no surprises coming. Okay, so background sentence, some people think this, I think this. That's all you need to do. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. I'll close the chat box for this because it's quite busy. Closed chat box means I can see your writing, but you can't see everybody else's. It's a little bit less distracting. All right, so 5 minutes. Even if you're new, I want you to have a go. You saw my example. You can do it. It doesn't need to be perfect, but I want you to write an introduction within 5 minutes. Okay, so let's go. You can do it. All right, that's our 5 minutes. How did we go? Did you manage to finish? Yeah, beautiful. Great. I'm really happy to see everyone is giving a super clear opinion. So that is a really, really good thing. That's really the first thing the examiner's looking for. How clear is your position? So that third sentence, I believe, I think, in my view, very good stuff. Don't let the examiner imagine what you think. Make sure it is super clear. All right. I sent a couple of bits of feedback. Hopefully you received them through the chat box. I'll open it up just briefly, but then I'm going to close it again. All right, let's keep going. So intro's done. Now we're going to do body one, but we're going to do body one painfully slowly, sentence by sentence. Okay, so I'm going to really tell you exactly what I want from each sentence that you write. Okay, and I'm going to show you my example as well as we go. So to do this, I'm going to keep the chat box closed because you're going to write just one sentence at a time. Okay, and at the end, you should collect your sentences and put them into a document so that you don't lose them in the chat box. All right, so chat box is closing. And let's have a look at our body one structure here. Okay, and can you remember my first body one, the main point that I want to make is that it is the number one priority because fossil fuels will disappear soon or one day. Okay, and I'm going to give a main point. I'm going to explain my main point. And then, in fact, I'm going to give an effect and then my example and then a link. And you're going to do the same with me. Okay, here's my topic sentence, the first sentence of my paragraph. The major reason why we need to find alternative energy sources is because oil, gas, and coal reserves, fossil fuels, are running out. Okay, the main reason why this is because they are running out. That is the main point of my paragraph. Okay, my key idea, the P in my heel. Next, and this is where you're going to start writing now. This is my idea. We have to replace them because they're running out. Explain this to me. Imagine I'm an alien. I don't know anything about this topic. Why are they running out, or when are they going to run out? How are they running out? Just give me one sentence to explain this topic sentence. Okay, and I'm going to give you 2 minutes for this. Ages. Okay, so you're writing sentence number 2. Let's do it. Outstanding work. Let me read a couple of your sentences. Okay, so following this, the major reason is because they're running out. Varsha wrote, continued usage of these natural resources for various purposes like power generation, electricity supply, is resulting in their depletion. The day is not very far when we will be left with none of these resources. Beautiful job. Great explanation. Somebody else, I miss your name, wrote, these fossil fuels are not renewable, which means every time we consume them, they disappear. Fantastic. Ashia wrote, as we are not able to generate them back, maybe as they are not renewable, these resources are on the verge of extinction. Beautiful. Okay, this is my sentence. Indeed, experts predict that our supplies of fossil fuels will be exhausted within the next 100 years. Okay, so that's my next sentence. Now, I'm going to just skip over example. I want to talk about the effect. Okay, so it should be the priority because they're running out. In fact, maybe only 100 years. So what is my question now? What impact is this going to have on me, on the world, on life, on society, on the economy? Yeah, you can write 100 years, G-Day, without any proof. It's okay in IELTS, only in IELTS, strangely enough. Okay, so it's going to run out soon. Next sentence from you guys. What will happen? Full sentence and only 1.5 minutes for this. We're talking about the effect here. Next sentence. Let's go. Very nice job. Thank you, guys. Sorry, it's confusing because I'm writing comments in the chat box and I can see everybody's work, but you can only see my comments. That's why I think some of you are wondering what I'm talking about. Okay, great job. Some really good effects showing up there. All right. Here's my one. Okay, so they'll be exhausted in 100 years. This would obviously have a devastating impact on all aspects of our lives. Okay, so that's my effect. It's a fairly general statement. Some of you are much more specific, which I think is really good. Now I'm going to give an example. Okay, so this is where my specific stuff is coming. What is this devastating impact? Okay, so imagine the future. We have no more coal, no oil, no gas. We can't power our houses properly. What would happen if we did not have alternatives? So this is my example section now, and over to you. 2 minutes to write. Chat box is still closed, so I can see, but the others can't. Okay, next sentence in your paragraph. Nicely done. Sash was just asking me, why are we writing the example after the effect? A really good question. So our structure is P-E-E-E-E-L, but sometimes you might put the example, straight after the point, or you might have your effect before your example. It's kind of flexible. You don't have to always go in that order. So to me, it felt more natural to go point, explain, effect, and then example. So you can be flexible with this structure. All right, here's my example. So it'll have a devastating impact. Transport, electricity production, manufacturing, to name just 3 sectors, would cease to operate, meaning more effect, meaning not only unemployment, but also food shortages and social upheaval. A hospital too cannot save lives unless it has electricity. Okay, so these are my concrete specific examples. What would happen if we ran out of fossil fuels? Okay, so then at the end of my paragraph, I'm talking about all this negative stuff, but I have to come back to the question physically. So the question is, it's the number 1 priority. I've got to return to that idea, not just drift off to fossil fuels are terrible. The question is, should their replacement be the number 1 priority? Okay, so I want to link back here and say, why is replacing them so important in light of all this? Okay, just 1 minute, final sentence here. Over to you. Okay, how'd we go? Really nice, like a little bow, all tied up and beautiful. Return to the topic. The examiner knows you still are writing about this question. And here's my link sentence. It is therefore vital for governments and scientists to develop viable energy solutions to enable life to continue once fossil fuels have been depleted. It is, in simple terms, it is therefore really important to have alternatives to fossil fuels. And that is a spectacular paragraph. And that is the process that you should follow, not so slowly, but when you're writing your essay, that's the kind of idea development that will score you 8 or at least 7 rather than 5 or 6. Okay, so it's 1 point, it's 1 idea, stretched out, explanation, example, effect. Don't lose sight of the topic as well. I'm going to open up the chat box. I know there's probably lots of questions. There we go. Now you can see each other's comments. All right. Can I use it is predicted? Yes, of course. Okay, so we've done our intro. We've done the body 1 painfully slowly with me. Yeah, Shiva asked me, Jay's introduction always says this essay will discuss. You can use that, but you don't have to. So in my one, I could have written, personally, I completely agree. And in this essay, I will explain why. Yeah, totally fine. There are many ways to skin a cat, as they say. Okay, so now I'm going to leave it over to you. Body 2, up to you. You can do whatever you want, follow that same strategy or not. And you've got 7 minutes for this, so a nice chunk of time. You will have time to edit your work here as well. Body 2. Now remember, my idea for body 2 was the other reason we need to replace fossil fuels is because they are so damaging to the environment. All right. Shall I leave the chat box open, guys? It'll become busy. I'm going to leave it open because there are lots of new people. So you can just try to block your eyes. You can also close your chat box yourself and write in a document or write on a piece of paper. But just for this paragraph, I'll leave it open. Sorry to those of you who hate it. Okay, and I'll be looking there as well. All right, body 2, let's go. Almost there. All right, let's go. Finish off your last sentence. That's the way. Look at that beautiful busy chat box. Well done, guys. Was that one easier? Easier to write? Easier to structure? Without me, blah, blah, blah. Okay, they're looking good. All right, nice job. So a lot of people followed my structure. Some doing something different, completely fine. You don't have to follow me. In your first few classes, it's a good idea, but you will eventually have the confidence to break free if you want. All right, now you can see there are lots of people here. So let's do a quick peer review. So what this means is you're going to scroll up in the chat box. I want you to find and read another person's paragraph. Okay, so just find a random person if you can, and give them some feedback. So you can send them a private message by clicking on their name, or you can just write at whoever and give them some feedback. Look at their paragraph structure. So does it make sense when you read it? Can you follow their ideas? And what about linking? Does each sentence hold hands with the sentences before and after it? Is it stuck together like glue? All right, so I'll just give you a few seconds. If you're not finished yet, just paste whatever you've got into the chat box. And we're all going to do this. I'm going to do it as well for 2 minutes. Scroll back, find somebody, read it, give them some feedback. In particular, my regular students, you've got a lot of good advice to give. Please find a newbie and give them some helpful tips. All right, so here we go. 2 minutes. Read, feedback. Thanks, guys. Beautiful. If you want to get a bit more feedback, of course, you can submit your work for assessment, but we also have these small group classes now, and that's 5 students, 1 teacher. And one of our popular ones is called BYO essay, bring your own essay. So you write an essay before class, you bring it along, the teacher has it up on the screen, and you all go through it together, your 4 classmates and you. And they're really effective. You get really good feedback. Even if you're a free member, you can add one of those. They're only $19, and you can study with Sasha or Graham or Anna, who are our E2 experts. So on your platform, click on group classes and you'll find them all there. All right. So here is my body 2. I'll read it quickly. I'm going to show you the full essay at the end, by the way. In addition, alternative greener energies are needed in order to reduce the catastrophic environmental damage fossil fuels cause. Okay. That's my topic centers, my main point. Everything else in this essay is going to support that. There's no doubt that extracting and burning coal, oil, and gas causes pollution, habitat destruction, and even species extinction. Petrol-powered cars, as one example, are the major contributors to CO2, a driving force of climate change. If we continue to rely on these fuels, the damage to waterways, air, and biodiversity, this is my effect, could become irreversible. Finding new renewable energy sources, finding new renewable, try and say that 5 times. Finding new renewable energy options soon is thus crucial to prevent further disasters. Goodness me, I've lost my power of speech. Okay, so this followed the pattern a bit more in order. My main point, my reason, why does it damage the environment? Because taking it out, burning it causes pollution. An example, petrol-powered cars. This is a single idea paragraph, Mandeep. So main point, explanation, example, the effect. If we continue to do this, something will happen. And then link back to the topic. Therefore, we need to find other solutions. Full example is coming. Conclusion, let's wrap it up. Okay, so just 3 minutes to do this. I want you to do it really quick. In conclusion, blah, blah, blah. Tell me about the topic, summarize again, tell me what's your opinion. Nice and quick. And then we are pretty much done. And I'll show you the full essay and give you some other stuff to look at. Okay, here we go. I'm going to close the chat box. No, I'm going to leave it open. Okay. Excellent job. Thank you, guys. It's totally fine to write in conclusion to start your conclusion. You don't need to get fancy in that section there. Okay, and always at least 2 sentences here. So 2 or 3 in the conclusion. All right. So yeah, you can say other things, but honestly, it breaks my heart when people make a mistake right at the end of the essay by using something strange like in a nutshell or to recapitulate. Don't do that. Just in conclusion. Don't want to waste points. Okay, so imagine we're in the test. You finished, you check the clock, and you're like, yes, I've got 5 minutes left. What am I going to do? I'm going to check my essay. And that's what I want you guys to do. I'm going to show you my sample, but there are some errors in it. Okay, and I've chosen from the list of common errors. And by the way, in the grammar for IELTS class tomorrow, this is our theme. What are the common errors and how to avoid them, how to spot them and edit for them in your work. So we have 14, I guess, top grammar errors. Subject verb agreement, I mentioned that a couple of times today. Probably number 1, noun, singular, plural, uncountable articles. To me, those are the big 3 that I see all the time. And those little errors everywhere can bring your score down to 6. So the top 3 definitely need to be careful with. But for everybody, you will have your own particular error list. And if you get your work checked, you'll be more aware of it. So when you look at that list, what are your problems? I know for some of you, it's prepositions. Yes, grammar class is free tomorrow, just for this week. All of them, Mustafa, no. It's usually probably 3 pet problems that people have. Yeah, Vijaya, definitely. Subject verb agreement, most common. Word order, yeah. So that one is often related to your mother tongue, the word order. So Italian speakers often have a lot of problems with that. Okay. Last week in the Grammar for IELTS class, which is or will be up in the recorded class section, we worked on complex sentences, and that included punctuation and also fragments and non-grammatical sentences. So last week's Grammar for IELTS class in the recorded section of your course, be sure to check that out. All right, but here is my full essay, intro, body, body, conclusion. I want you to see, can you find and fix the 8 grammar errors in here? So it could be something tiny, it could be something big. I'm going to close the chat box for this so you can concentrate. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Read through, challenge yourself. Can you find all 8 problems? Here we go. Amazing. Well done. Did you get all 8? I reckon some of you did. Yeah. You need to take that eye to your own work as well and look for those little problems. So I'll highlight here, these are the issues. Depend has wrong word here, something missing here. Wrong word. Anything you want to change? Yep, Ahmed, well done. Okay. So here are the corrections. Our modern world depends, subject-verb agreement. Our modern world depends, and some have, so classic subject-verb agreement issues. We need to find alternative sources is because, blah, blah, blah. Enable life to continue once fossil fuels have been depleted. Passive, present perfect passive. In addition, not in additional. Pollution is general uncountable noun, doesn't need an article. Finding, this is the subject, the gerund, finding, blah, 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 is. And finally, should be the #1 global priority. All good? 6 out of 8. Irish, the essay question was finding alternatives to fossil fuels should be the #1 global priority. To what extent do you agree or disagree? All right, and those of you asking for full essay plus the question, there it is. So grab a screenshot. After class, I think it's a really good idea to rewrite word for word in your own handwriting even, rather than typing. Helps you to pay attention to the structure, to notice the chunks of language that you can recycle. Thank you, Yam. Chat box is open now. All right, a few more seconds. Got your screenshot? All good. More practice. Now, one thing I want to mention is coming up, I think, on our YouTube tonight, but definitely out on our podcast, is an interview with me and Dr. Anna talking about why people get 6 and 6.5 and how they can get 7 and 8. So if you are aiming for 7 and 8, check out our podcast. I'll share the link in the chat box, actually, if you just bear with me. If you're on YouTube, just look for E2 Talks, which is the podcast. There you go, guys. I'm sharing the Spotify link. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Anchor FM, it's on Stitcher, it's everywhere. I'm also going to share with you guys here the link to the all-in package. So if you want to get everything, plus give your 3 best friends 3 express packages, have a look at that. The all-in package is for you. Now, other things that you can do. Go to your course, click on the course button on the left, click on writing task 2 and review opinion essay. So there is an overview, a method video there with Jay, some practice activities, some samples. That's down here. If you were a bit confused about paragraph structures, here is the paragraph section. In there's a video, how to write single idea paragraphs. That's what we did today. How to write double idea paragraphs. That's what we did last week, I think. Recorded classes are over here. There's a button called recorded classes. Remember, this is only available if you're a paid member, and you can become a paid member for only $44, which gives you access to everything for 6 months. It's really, really good value. If you want to work 5-on-1, that's the group classes. Group class button is here. So that's the one where you can do either speaking or writing with a small group of students. It's much smaller than today's class. And tutorials work 1-on-1, even better. All right. And just, this is a final reminder, the all-in package, brand new, so it contains everything, and it's really, really personalized. So if you want that extra help, if you want that extra connection, this package begins with a meeting with your teacher where it's about half an hour, you go through everything. Like, what were your scores? What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? What are your interests? How many hours a day have you got for study? Your teacher will help you to really build your program. Plus, you get those 3 express packages, so you can share the love with other people, which is what we are all about here at E2, studying together much better. And my friends, that is the end of the class. We've got a few minutes, so thank you so much for coming. I hope that that was helpful for you. If you are new, welcome. And I look forward to seeing you in some more live classes. Keep in mind, your first class is always a challenge. You know, there are a lot of people here who are regulars, and you will be as confident as them in a couple of days. I can promise you that. Yes, I'll share the podcast link again. Sorry, guys. Try that now. Does that work better? All right. And yeah, if you want to know about the packages, especially you guys who are on YouTube, go to e2language.com. There is all the information there. There are all different kinds of packages, all different sorts of prices. So it's not just one size fits all, and it's really very affordable. If you need a little bit of help, we can do that. If you need a lot of help, we've got that as well. So just go to e2language.com, click on IELTS, scroll down. You can split up your payments now. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible. We're trying to make it as cheap as possible to give you everything that you need as well. I'm going to stop the YouTube stream. Thank you, guys. And I'll stay online here on Zoom to answer your questions. All right, thank you, YouTube.